How's everyone today? I am blessed. My wife is blessed. Our family's blessed, and it's just blessing to be alive, be healthy, and to be whole. I'm going to talk today more along the health topic, I guess, more than gospel. Even though I'm going to read some scriptures, because to walk in divine health, then obviously you need the Word of God and God's instructions. So I will read a few scriptures here. But what I'm going to talk about is the taste of food and how the taste of food has changed over the years and some of the reasons why a lot of people say food just don't taste good no more. And as you get older, you remember a lot of the taste from, the past because you have a longer past than younger people. And a lot of older people will say the food just don't taste good. And a lot of older people, they get to a place where they just don't want to eat anymore. And you go to a lot of the senior citizen homes and places like that, retirement homes or whatever. A lot of the seniors, they complain about the food just doesn't taste good, and a lot of them don't eat. They don't eat that much. Of course, as you get older, you need a little less food anyway because you're not expending as much energy. Like little kids, they be just like ever-ready bunnies hopping all over the place. They got all that energy, but then they need the food for that energy. But as you get older, you move slower, you move a little less quicker, and so you don't need as much food anyway for energy. And you'll find that out, even though some people still eat a lot, but they're eating a lot more than they need, but they don't realize that. So anyway, I'm gonna talk about that for a few minutes, more like I said, along the line of health. In the description box will be our blog addresses and also our store, where you can purchase items to support our missionary type efforts in Uganda, especially. And also, I'm going to put in the description box another link, and as I get into this, I'll let you know what that link is. Okay, from Leviticus, the 25th chapter, I'm going to read a few verses, starting at the third verse, if you're reading along with me. Leviticus 25:3. 6 years thou shalt sow thy field, and 6 years thou shalt prune thy vineyard, and gather in the fruit thereof. But in the 7th year shall be a Sabbath of rest unto the land, a Sabbath for the Lord. Thou shalt neither sow thy fields nor prune thy vineyards. And the 5th verse says, that which groweth of its own accord of thy harvest thou shalt not reap. In other words, don't harvest it. Neither gather the grapes of thy vine undressed, for it is a year of rest unto the Lord. Okay? So basically what the Lord was saying is that every 7 years the land needs to rest. So you produce your crops for 6 years, the 7th year they rest. And the reason why they did that is because the land had to rejuvenate itself, so to speak. So the reason why he said not to gather whatever grew on its own is because if you just let it die and just plow it under, then what it does is it fertilizes the land. So for a whole year, whatever just grew on the land of its own accord was just plowed under, so to speak, the weeds, whatever, grass, whatever. And then for the next 7 years, it's ready to be planted again. So 6 years of planting, 1 year of rest, okay? And that's what God says for us to do. Now, that's his divine plan. Now, what's happened nowadays is they're not letting the land rest. You have a big farm and you're producing all this food, you're not going to let the land sit for a whole year without doing anything. Most cases, people don't do that, especially commercial farmers, because they would go broke. So, and that's where we get our food. So therefore, the food is going to taste different because the land is losing its nutrients each year. By the time the 6th year comes, then that food is going to taste different than the food did the first year, because each year the nutrients are being depleted from the land. So the 7th year, then you rejuvenate the land. So then the first harvest, that first year of the 6th, you're going to get tremendous harvest, and your food is going to taste tremendous because it's the nutrients that's in the soil that makes your food taste well. So the reason why our food nowadays don't taste like anything is because there's no nutrients in the food. Because first of all, they don't farm that way. And second of all, there's so many added ingredients and chemicals and stuff put in the soil to treat the seed or to put on the plants itself once it grows until it changes the taste of the food. So between all the chemicals and the fact that the land wasn't allowed to rest, there's no nutrients, and then because there's no nutrients in the food, then the food tastes completely different. Now, you can do your own experiment. Is what you do is you buy you some organic food. Taste the difference between organic food. Organic food tastes a lot different than food that's not organic. Okay? It's because organic food is grown with a lot of the pesticides and chemicals and all that not being used. So therefore that food's going to taste different. Also, a lot of people will allow the land to rest. Okay? They'll build the land up and they'll let it rest. You know, not a lot of farmers do that, but some do. Okay? But if the difference between organic food and regular food, the taste is tremendous. Okay, what we try to do, my wife and I, is we try to buy all organic. Everything we get, we try to make it organic. If we can't find organic, then we get locally grown produce and products. Because locally grown produce and products, you have a little bit more control over what they did to the land, what they did to the plants or whatever. Because you can actually talk to the farmer or talk to the people that are distributing the food. Okay, and it makes a difference. It really makes a difference. Also, because the food is not transported from one place to another, then that's an added chemical that's added to the food. Then it gets to the market, they spray and they do other things so that the food looks delicious. And so there's a lot going on with that food to distract from the taste of the food, and that's why the food doesn't taste like it used to taste. There's an article, and it's called Advocates for Public Health Education. I'm going to put the link in the box. There's an article that I read on, there's 50, at least 50, they said jaw-dropping toxic chemicals that are added to our foods on a daily basis. 50, at least 50, okay? Which means there's more, but at least 50 that are jaw-droppingly toxic. So when you add all those chemicals, and then the fact that there's no nutrients in the food to begin with, then there's no wonder the food doesn't taste like anything. So this is why food does not taste well. If you want better tasting food, then eat organic. Grow your own food. My wife and I, we try to grow as much as we can of our own, especially some of the basic things that we like to eat, the vegetables and things like that. The fruit, we haven't had that much success here when we moved to the South, even though things will come up, but the bug situation here is so bad. And the reason why pestilence is so bad also is because the pests are looking for quality food. They can't find quality food. So you have an organic garden where you're growing wonderful food, then the pests are going to attack your food because they're looking for something good to eat, just like you're looking for something good to eat. So we've had a lot of problems with pests here because they're looking for good food too, so then they wind up eating our crops. So we've had a challenge in that area. And then, of course, you have to wind up using pesticides and things, and then that changes the food. So because this world is out of order, sin has made it out of order, then everything's going to be different. But in order to eat food that does taste at least better than the regular store-bought food, then you need to eat as much organic as you can. Okay, I'm going to put in the description box not only the links to our blogs and our store, I'm also going to put in a link to my book, Live to 120 Without Sickness and Disease. In this book, I talk about chapter 25 of Leviticus, about letting the land rest and things like that. And there's more in here too, but I'll put the link for that, and also put the link in for the Advocates for Public Health Education, the article on 50 toxic, jaw-droppingly toxic chemicals that are being added to our foods. So next time you worry about the taste, now you know why food does not taste like it used to taste. And there are things you can do about it. And I mentioned a few things, but there are other things too. But anyway, if you get the book, you'll find out more that you can do so that you can have better tasting food. So anyway, hopefully that was a blessing to you today. I wanted to make it short like I try to make it always. So the topic was food and why it does not taste like it used to taste. Okay. So everybody be blessed today, and everybody who is eating, try to eat something organic, something that's healthy, and you will get the taste that you're looking for. So be blessed, everyone. See you tomorrow.